So there you have it. You gonna start it?
Let's start right now. Welcome to the Pastor's Buzz, where Nancy and I do our very best to do our very best and answer questions that are on y'all's minds and in our minds as well. Mm-hmm. Many of these questions we ask ourselves just for fun on Tuesdays. So
That's right.
Anyway, we have a really good one. So here we go. What happens to those who have had no exposure to Christianity? Nance?
You gonna start with me?
Okay, you know it.
Okay.
You know it.
Well, I think for us to try to answer that just straight up with one word.
Are they in hell?
Are they? They go to hell.
Are they?
Go to hell. It's putting us in the place of. Isn't putting us in the place of God. And well, actually, you just made that point a minute ago. That if we go with what Jesus said, really, what life is about and a relationship with Him about is love. Mm-hmm. Does He show up? Maybe not as the person, Jesus, the Christ, but how does He reveal to others? Is there some place even after death where Jesus shows up? I personally go with everyone has an opportunity to meet Jesus. I'm just not exactly sure how that happens and when it happens. Mm-hmm. That's just me. That's me.
Yeah, my initial reaction is just because someone has had no exposure to Christianity, does that mean that they've really had no exposure to Christ? And kind of the way I would think about that is, like if you read many of the Psalms and many of the stories of the Old Testament, actually none of those people knew Christ.
Right?
Yeah,
that's right.
But if you read them and you read through the Psalms, you realize that even though they didn't know Christianity, they really did know Christ. They knew the heart of God, mm-hmm. right? And they spoke to it very clearly, and it mattered in their lives. And so, I'm not so sure how important it is that someone has been exposed to Christianity, but I think it is important, right? Does someone know the one who created them? Yes. Do they know the Creator? Do they know His love? And that
because we believe Jesus,
that supersedes any religion, right? That is wrapped up around it. And
if you believe Jesus was God in the flesh, mm-hmm. And those that didn't know Him yet were exposed to God's love and the heart of God. The other thing is, it came to my mind with the ending of that question is, if been exposed to Christianity. I mean, Christianity as a whole these days doesn't always show up as the loving presence that we would know Jesus to be. Uh-huh. So, actually just exposure to Christianity in a general sense doesn't mean that people have been exposed to the heart of God and Jesus.
And some people's experience of Christianity is incredibly negative.
Yes. Yeah. So they're...
And actually, it's taken them years, decades to actually come back and actually know the heart of Christ and what God wanted for His church and how He wants us to be a part of His kingdom and spreading good news. And they're like, "What? This is not what I was exposed to."
That's not what Christianity was to me.
Exactly.
So again, it taking us back to the heart of God and to who Jesus is as we know Him. I don't know how Jesus shows up to others, but I do believe He's about love, and
with that, I also believe that Jesus is the very best witness to who God is.
Absolutely.
And His love for us. And so that's why when I talk to people about God, I absolutely believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, because for me, that is the most perfect example of what it means to be a part of God's kingdom and God's family.
To know God with skin on. We don't have another way that's been given to us. He is the revelation of mm-hmm. God, the Word. So absolutely, that is for us that have been exposed to Jesus. He gives us a glimpse of God. So we want other people to have that, and to know the real Christ.
Yeah.
Not something that's been an artificial sort of put in a box Christianity. So that's why I think that's a great point. When we meet someone and they want to know about Christianity, what we really want to do is take them to the heart of Jesus. Just take them to Jesus, not to Christianity. Does that sound really negative about Christianity, doesn't it?
We're Christians, we
We are
promise.
Christians, I promise we are. Followers of Christ. That's what we are. As followers of Christ.
Yes. Yeah, we're cool with Christianity.
Yes. I'm sorry, I did make that sound kind of negative.
No.
We just as pastors, I mean, we run across people fairly often that have been really disenfranchised,
Wounded, yeah.
by what the big term Christianity or Big C church has been about. So I think that's why we're sensitive to that, to them really knowing Jesus.
Yeah, we're about the relationship with God, right? And that's what we're working with people day in and day out. And sometimes to do that and to bring people into a relationship, we end up unpacking a lot of people's ideas of what Christianity is. But if you're cool with being in relationship with the living God, who was Jesus Christ, came God in the flesh, and you call that Christianity, we're with you. We're with you.
Exactly. Yes. Followers of Christ.
Yes.
There we go.
So, great question. Thank you. I don't think you stumped us yet, but
No.
it's getting close.
Yeah.
Every time we turn on the camera,
Yeah.
we're this much closer to not
That's a tough one.
knowing what to say.
Because the truth is, we don't have a clear-cut answer to that question.
We don't.
And that's the good news, is we don't have to be God.
Yes.
All we got to do is follow Jesus as he's been shown to us. So there you go.
Alrighty. Well, until next time, we'll catch y'all later.